share now if you'd like, and
Hi, everybody.
take
How
the
are you
mic.
doing? I'm Chris. I'm the CTO and co-founder of ClubNFT. I am thanking my lucky stars that I don't have a demo to give today because there were a few pretty fantastic ones today, and that would be a pretty hard act to follow. Yeah, I'm just here to talk about a little bit about something that we at Club NFT and Infura got up to a couple weeks ago. So I don't think that it's necessary to explain to this very technical audience, what are NFTs and how does that whole thing actually work. But it's interesting to note that just earlier last week, um, somebody got a lot of press for putting up a fake kind of torrent site called the NFT Bay and offering to let everybody download about 18 terabytes worth of NFT media. And for kind of the general public who don't really understand NFTs, they don't really get it, this seemed kind of like a mic drop moment that, oh my God, you can steal all of these NFTs. So what's the point? Whereas, kind of everybody who is familiar with NFTs already knows that the media itself, like anybody can go see that. You don't need to own the NFT to view these things on marketplaces, and you can right click save the NFT media. So this wasn't a surprise to anybody actually in the community, but this particular stunt got a ton of media attention, just kind of showing that the vast majority of people out there don't really understand it. A couple like interesting points. We looked into it, and the torrent's empty, so it was all kind of a lie. The guy who did all of this, he then went on to release his own NFT and sold that on OpenSea. So it's kind of interesting. We have a little breakdown about this whole event, but more, importantly, just providing some kind of educational resources for the folks who maybe saw this and thought, oh my God, and thought it was a big deal, just explaining a little bit about NFTs and how they work. Now, this is important. We actually were really hoping that this torrent was real, that there really was 18 terabytes worth of all of the Ethereum and Solana NFTs available for easy download. And we're actually pretty disappointed that it wasn't the case. And that's because people don't really understand that NFT media is typically stored off chain, and that media is actually somewhat, out of their control. You think that you've bought an NFT, so you own it and you have complete control over that, but you don't realize that, a marketplace, wherever that NFT was actually minted, they're the ones who are kind of behind the scenes paying for storage, for pinning services, and so forth. And not every marketplace actually uses the best in class pinning service available. I think that collectors ought to know where these things are actually living and be able to take control over them so that they can make maybe better decisions. So a case where this actually kind of mattered and started to get a little bit of attention from the broader community who maybe didn't know about this stuff before was a couple weeks ago when Hic et Nunc just shut down without any notice. So Hic et Nunc, very popular Tezos marketplace. And the owner, creator, founder, really one guy with all of the keys to all of the code and services, he got a little frustrated and just decided to shut the whole thing down. So this raised the question of, is he going to continue to pay to pin all of the media for all of the NFTs that were created on his site? All of the NFTs themselves, they're safe, they're on the Tezos blockchain. Other marketplaces popped up immediately as mirrors of Hic et Nunc. But the question about what to do about all of this media was kind of a big deal. So we at Club NFT, heard about this immediately, and we decided our goal, our mission as a company is to release tools to allow collectors to really take control of their media. Until those tools are ready, it's just a larger goal of the company to keep NFT collectors safe. And the fastest, easiest, most straightforward thing we can do in this case, until our tools are ready, is just offer to pay for all of the hosting pinning costs for all of the Hic et Nunc media. Now, the founder of Hic et Nunc may have been an artist with his own, strange views on things, but he did choose originally to host all of his NFTs media with Infura, which was a good choice. So we were able to reach out to Infura a couple weeks ago and basically just work with them to repin everything under an account that we were going to pay for. This is about 1.5 million IPFS CIDs. Some of them are, directories containing multiple files, so could be tens of millions of files. It was about 4 terabytes of data. It was a pretty significant undertaking and one that we really wanted to complete within just a few hours because it's not clear how long some of this data can survive on IPFS if nobody's paying for it. So other folks in the community also stepped up and repinned these things on other services and using other technologies, some Filecoin or Pinata or what have you. But it took them, weeks, or at least, several days to get that all done. By working with Infura, we actually were able to get right in touch with their engineering teams. We set up a task force to take care of this. It was all done, very, very quickly. And, we were happy to be able to provide this service with the community and also, really build a good relationship with Infura, who's been fantastic to partner with. So, this is kind of a nice community thing that ClubNFT and Infura were able to do, but it's really not kind of our longer term solution at ClubNFT. We don't want people to be relying on ClubNFT to continue pinning things or a marketplace to continue pinning things. We want people to be able to make those decisions themselves. So ClubNFT is working to put tools into collectors' hands to do all of this stuff. The first tool will be focused exclusively on the NFT backup and storage solution. So effectively give all of the media in a nice, easy to handle way to the collectors. It can actually be kind of difficult, first of all, to find all of the media associated with each NFT. Some NFTs are pretty non-standard. And as well, some NFTs point to media which on IPFS, which then is also a JSON blob pointing to other media, and it can go out into a pretty big web of files that you actually have to track down to make sure you don't lose your data. So doing all of that work for them, giving them the files, giving them the metadata necessary so that they could repin this to IPFS. That includes pretty much all of the IPFS command line options, some of which are built into the CID associated with the file, and some of which are not. So you can actually get a different hash for the same file depending on some options that you use when you pin things. So giving them all of this information, and once they have that, then they can choose very easily to go with a world-class storage provider like Infura, or maybe they just want to burn it to a CD and stick it in a bank vault. There are a lot of ways that people can secure their media. We think that it should be up to the collector, because just relying on marketplaces has been shown to be a little dangerous. It's not a great long-term solution. We're all for any solutions where marketplaces are trying to do things better. Some of them pin with multiple services. Some of them have big backups on, Amazon S3. We've spoken with a lot of marketplaces about what they do. And this problem really keeps them up at night because they know that as soon as they lose some of this data, they're going to piss off their users, and that's not good for anybody. The really long-term solution is to put that responsibility and also the tools into the collector's hands to do this themselves. So that's why we're here. We were happy to partner with Infura, and we're happy partnering with them going forward as we look into integrations for our tool to make things easier. But yeah, it was just a fun little side project that we were able to do, and we really appreciate Infura helping us out on that. So if you're interested in learning a little bit about what we do and how we do it and why this all matters, I believe that we'll be making these slides available for free. I can also post some of these things in the chat. And yeah, thanks from everyone at ClubNFT. And thank you all for having me here to talk about this. It's a real pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Can you move? Oh, actually,
Oh,
keep
sure. Sorry.
sharing that if you don't mind. And then, yeah, and you can pop that on the next one. So, yeah, we're coming up to the hour here, but we do have a few minutes for some last minute questions from all of you guys. Um, and great presentations from everybody. Thank you, Tom, Fred, Chris, and Nick. Can you do one more slide next? Chris, I believe. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So we're leaving you with May is going to stay on the chat because she's like a chat ninja and she's providing you guys all the resources. Of course, these links are going to be available. We're going to send in a follow up email to all of you who have RSVP'd and attended today. But also, you can. We'll be posting this in the Discord community as well. But make sure to follow Infura. Here are all the good links. And of course, everybody here today, Fred with Arbitrum, we have so many great questions, and we'll get to those real quick. Chris and Nick as well at Truffle. So let's see here. We do have a quick question, Chris, since you were just up. I had a question from Scott. He was asking, how does this work? Wouldn't they have to update the NFT URI for this to work?
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah,
I'm
so
guessing you know what
the
that means.
trick to this is that if you have all of the original media in the exact form that it was originally uploaded to IPFS, and you have all of the settings that were used when it was uploaded, then if you re-upload it to IPFS yourself at a later date, it will get the exact same hash and effectively unbreak that link that was stored in the token. So effectively, our goal is to make sure that you don't have to go in and try to like change the contract or change the token URI. Those should be immutable, and you should just be able to restore the data yourself. If you don't mind, I also see a question from Miyamoto in the chat, if I could answer that real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
so we think that actually it already is the responsibility of the collector. They just don't really know it. So if you were going to say, buy a Van Gogh for, $100 million and you were to put it up in a museum, would you just rely on whatever insurance policy the museum has if in case it, burns down or something? Presumably, you would do your best to take out insurance on something that matters to you, cost you a lot of money, and that you care about. We don't think that we're trying to relieve marketplaces of their responsibility to pin the content and make sure that it doesn't disappear. We just think that the nature of the world is that data losses happen, marketplaces go out of business, things happen, and we'd like it to be an option for collectors to be able to take control into their own hands and take further steps to ensure that their investments don't disappear.